Hey guys, it is Sanjay and Rose here with Motivation Station. More Rose, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Sanjay.
How
How are
are you on this?
you?
How are you on this beautiful, chilly Saturday? Are you back in Atlanta?
I I am in Georgia.
Oh, Georgia. Okay, sorry.
Currently, I'm in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and I just want to say thank you for JD for the last podcast. And what I want to say is that I started praying a lot more.
Mm,
Like I took time. I made a habit at the 9:30 p.m. I have time with God for about 15 to 20 minutes just to like pray, and it was just amazing. I just want to say thank you to JD for the last podcast. It was amazing.
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like I said, I think that's why I was getting a lot more emotional on that podcast in general, just because,
Mhm.
um, there was a time that I was attending church a lot more. But it wasn't even for myself. I was doing it more for like my daughter and my wife, because my wife wants to rekindle, and it's a good introduction to like for my daughter, and she'd go
Yeah,
there. She there's like a little playroom, so she'd play with like the other kids, um and like she enjoyed it and she had a lot of fun, but like I never went for myself. But like I said, like during the podcast, there was some sermons that he did that I felt connected to, and then after a while, like time was just kind of against us, money was against us, and it was just hard for us to make the effort to go. And like I felt bad that I stopped going, but like I said, he never stopped caring. Like he never, yeah, stopped caring. Like he was always like, "Hey man, hope everything is good." Despite me not making, he would always catch up with me. He would always just see where
yeah,
I
that
was
was
at.
so
Um,
impactful,
yeah, and
so
like you said, like
impactful.
you see how down to earth he is, and like how he talked about the story of his friend that had her father pass away. Like he knew that there's that importance of connecting to God in a time like that, but it's also connecting as a human, and him being there for her as a friend, just saying like, how are you doing, how's this, how's that, because he said like there's no reason for me to bring up God and Jesus
Mhm.
and stuff like that right now. It's more about being human and just making sure you're good. But yeah, no,
That
we
is
had our
amazing.
conversation. I didn't. I caught up with him a little bit. I got to catch up with him again, but I know he had a good time too. So we were, you
Good
know,
morning, Teresa.
yeah, yeah, we were very grateful for him coming in. And yeah, yeah. Good morning, Teresa. Thanks for tuning in. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
and look what's happening, right? Look what's happening. I wanna take a moment and say I'm praying for West Coast.
mm,
It's the number one thing, right? Right now it's devastating. I want to pray for the East Coast. I don't know if you guys have a blizzards, but in the Southwest, even in the South, it's cold. It's blizzards. We had snowstorm yesterday. We have another one today, and it's turning quickly to ice.
yeah,
It's not just staying as snow, it's turning to ice.
mm-hmm,
People cannot drive in this weather. I was born in a snowland, so for me it's a different story. I can just go out and play and make snowballs and snowman and lay on the snow. It's a different.
yeah,
But when it started turning to ice, even I said, "Oh wow, this is dangerous."
yeah, yeah, 100%.
And I just want to pray for everyone's well-being.
Mm,
Right now, I'm dealing with some uh, life is always happening, right? My mom been um, battling with cancer since 2016,
mm,
and now her medication is so affecting her so much that she can't even drink water. It's hurting
oh,
her stomach.
yeah,
So I'm just praying for everyone. Be awesome today. Be kind to yourself. Believe. I have peace here. I meditated this morning, as I said earlier to our guest. I said I needed this because how I can stay still, right?
yeah. No, you got a lot going
Just,
on. Yeah.
like my mom, and I can be there. Certain things in life that I cannot just go and be there, which I do want to be. But we still focus. Let's take one day at a time, right? Peace, meditate, breathe, things happening. I am definitely praying for devastation that happened in LA. People that lost not just their houses, they lost their livelihood, their businesses in the same town. They've been there for generations and generations. They were building it for so many years. And just to lose in one day, that's devastating.
Yeah, no, I've seen like the news and stuff like that, and it's crazy out there. And I also pray for the best for the people out there, and I hope they. I have a few friends out west. They're not as far as like LA, but they're not too far away either. And I'm hoping everything's okay. And I advise if there's anything I can help with, I would absolutely love to. But
Yes.
definitely stay
Also,
safe out there, LA,
yeah.
and honestly, yeah, wishing you
And
guys the best. And
pollution, pollution,
yeah, oh yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It's coming
And
to us too.
yeah, over here we have yeah, we were supposed to get snow today, but I think it just ended up being rain. So we lucked out in that sense. It's supposed to snow next week. I know the south, like you said, was snowing. Actually, and not to put too much out there on her, but I talked to, like I said, I talked to Morgan every day, and she's like, yeah, it's snowing out here. It's crazy. And she drives slow, calm, takes it easy, right? And she got rear-ended yesterday, and she's okay.
Oh
She's perfectly
no.
fine. I think
Morgan,
she was saying her car had totaled, and I was like, "Is it? Is it?" And I don't think I saw any pictures. I don't think she sent me any. I didn't get the chance to talk to her this morning, but she's okay, and she's doing well. But she's just like, this snow just sends everybody kind of like spinning out of control and stuff like that. So, prayers for people being safe out there too. I know snow's like people are saying it looks like the North Pole in Texas, and I'm like, like you don't think the North Pole would ever kind of visit Texas in that sense.
we
Um,
have Teresa in Arizona. Let us know how's the weather out there. I hope you're staying safe.
Oh yeah, yeah. Is it? I don't know if it's snowing out there or anything like that. I know it's been bitterly cold everywhere. So yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well. And Rose, I hope I know like even midweek you hit me up, and you had mentioned about your mother, and I didn't know all that was going on. So honestly, but best to her, and I hope everything
Thank
is
you.
okay and you can get out there. Hopefully soon. Um, and we'll go from there. But yeah, keep me posted. Let me know if there's anything I can help with. I definitely would love to help
Thank
if I
you.
can. Um, but I think this all kind of leads, like you said, into like today's podcast. I lucked out because I have a friend who's all about it. But the importance of self care, the importance of mental health. It's a thing that's seldom spoken of. And when it is, it's treated on a rough edge, right? So it's like some people are like, you can show emotions, you can show um like weakness and being sad and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But then there's another end that says that you can't do any of that because that takes away a certain aspect of like, for example, like the whole like being a man thing, right? We'll talk more about that once I bring my guest. But I was happy enough that the guest that I have is actually a close friend I met online, and she's huge on advocating self-care. Like she's huge on like making sure people are do whatever they can for their mental, because above all, like you're your most important aspect. And I talking to her more, I learned more about like um my own self-care, because I've been through some challenges lately and whatnot. But I was hitting a point that I wasn't taking care of myself, and I was always like, taking care of others is my version of taking care of myself. And the longer I let that sit, the longer it burned me. And then until I hit a point that I got completely burnt and I didn't know what to do anymore. um and that's what kind of led to the crazy stuff that happened this year with my mental in general. Like I was in dark spaces, I was in bad places. Thankfully I had like my friends and my family there. But I also had like people like yourself, people like JD Morgan, and my friend who's gonna join, her name is Melanie. All of them, they were all like just kind of like there for me. But yeah, and like I said, I'll get a little bit more into it like when I bring her in. But let me just read a few comments. So yeah, Teresa says, yeah, so no snow, but it's about 35, 40
Yeah,
degrees, which I think is
it's
not
chilly
normal in Arizona, right? That's not, it's
because
normally not that cold.
it's always hot. I
Yeah, it's always
think
hot, or
so.
yeah, or at least warm. And yep, Gina, good morning. Motivate people. Missed being here last week. I have to watch it. I hope everyone is doing great and feeling fantastic. Thank you for coming, Gina. And yeah, 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 we're doing good. We're getting through our weeks like Rose says, day by day, and of course, we're always happy to
Thank
be
you.
here Saturday morning. Uh, yeah, yeah, Gina, self care. What's that? Rose taught me self care, and I'm practicing it more in the past 6 months. Yeah, we come to learn about doing self care, uh, and then sometimes it hits us harder on days than it doesn't, and then all of a sudden you find yourself doing it more. And like Rose said, like even at the beginning of this podcast, that she started doing a little bit more, and thanks to JD, that she's getting more in tune with herself and things like that. So it does take time for people to get there. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah. Oh, and Teresa says for winter it's normal. So 35-40 seems to be. I don't know. I've
Okay,
never, yeah, I've
because
never
I
been
do
to
know it's
Arizona
coming.
or anything like that. So yeah, I'm curious. I do want to visit one day. But cool. I mean, I hope you're staying warm at least. Um, but yeah. So let me. I would love to bring my friend in, and we'll get this party started. So let me just. All right. Hey, Melanie, how are ya?
Hello, Melanie.
Oh no, I don't hear you. Is your
She's
AirPod?
she's she's
Can you hear
on
me
mute.
now?
Yeah,
I
perfect.
can.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I was on mute. Sorry about that.
No, you're all good. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Thank you, Sanjay, so much for having me on this podcast.
Of
Thank
course.
you, Rose, for being here. Very happy to be here with both of you. I first want to send my prayers and love to you, Rose. I'm very sorry what you're going through with your mom. That just
Thank you.
touches me. Sending lots of love to your family. Sending lots of love to you, Sanjay. I know we've talked about mental health and
Mm,
we've had various conversations. Just sending you a lot of love and prayers too.
appreciate
And
that.
I want to also send a lot of love and prayers to California. I know they're going through a lot right now with the fires and so much loss, and families are having to just evacuate, and the pets and animals. And my heart goes out to everyone there. I've been to California a few times, including Los Angeles, and it's a wonderful place. People there are
Mm,
just so wonderful, and it's hard when you hear about devastation, in a part of the world, whether it's in America or another part of the world.
mm.
And also sending lots of love to the East Coast. I know they're dealing with their own share of things, and also to the world. I just want to send lots of love to the world and to all of your listeners for whatever they may be going through also.
No, thank you. See, she just like oozes out all this love, and like I love it. I absolutely love it, and I think that's why we got along so well at the beginning, because like I see the care that you have, uh, for the world, and I know like even yourself, you're going through challenges here and there, and you do your best to take care of yourself. So
Yes.
before we get too knee deep, tell us, like what got you started on doing all this care? Like, why did you become the person you are?
Yeah, so I majored in psychology in college, but I never really put that to use in the sense that I never worked in the psychology field. I never really, used it in the way. But I lost my husband to suicide almost 8 years ago now. And, I know he wasn't getting the help he needed, because if he was, then he would have maybe still been here. So I know he was really struggling, and I didn't know just how much until, unfortunately, lost him to suicide. And it was from that point I started taking a keen interest in mental health, and also men's mental health,
Mm,
because I know it's like you were saying, men, they have to be quote unquote tough.
yeah.
They can't show vulnerability. They can't, because that's a sign of weakness. That is what people are. The stereotype is that men are raised to be a certain way, and God forbid they cry. God forbid they wear pink. God forbid they have an interest in feminine interests. So my heart really goes out to all the men out there. And I've been through therapy and group therapy, and I've seen men come to therapy and get the help that they need. And a lot of them say, I have to put up this front, I have to put up this image with my friends and all, because I don't want them to see me in a certain way. I don't want them to see me cry. I don't want them to see me show emotions. So my
Mm,
heart goes out to the whole world. I know a lot of people are struggling, and some people are struggling silently.
yeah.
And I just want to be that voice for the people, and try to, whether I talk about mental health or self care, or just be someone that someone can, text or call when they're struggling. I want to be there for people in whatever way I can.
Yeah, I mean,
That is amazing.
yeah, I mean, I'll definitely, I didn't get a chance to do it before we started the podcast, but I'll definitely put like Melanie's Instagram if you don't mind. I'll put
Please
it
do.
in the,
Yes.
yeah, I'll put it in the description so you can reach out to her accordingly. But yeah, all the posts, like, I mean, lately, it's been LA stuff because a lot of stuff is going on. So not just prayers and goodwill to them, but it's always like, hey, they have their own version of like contact us if you need help with this, if you need food, if you need shelter, stuff like that. She has found some avenues where it's like you can reach out to like a separate page or phone number or something,
Yeah, I've been
for
posting
if you need help.
resources
Yeah,
on social media for
yeah,
people
exact
there
resources.
that, whether it's donations or food or shelters or free Wi-Fi, and I've been trying to just share those resources as I come across them.
Which is a beautiful thing, I'm sure not just Rose and I thank you for that, but a lot of people in general
Thank
do.
you.
Um,
You're very welcome.
Yeah, no, I think we met when I was kind of more in a darker place, and I think I was happy to have someone to talk to, and I agree that like mental health is crazy in the sense that for especially for men, there's like a level of I guess manliness, whatever you want to call it. There's a level that we need to show as men. It's hard for us to show weakness. It's hard for us to show us being down. I know we live in a different time where like we can be a little bit more open about it, but even then, the stigma still exists. And the one thing I was going to share, and not to deter like a different direction or anything we're trying to say, but there was a time like at the beginning of this year when I was feeling down, and I had my car accident. I don't know if I ever told you the story, but I wasn't suicidal per se, but there was a point in that accident when I got into it that I didn't want to live anymore. And when I had gotten into that accident, the 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 couple's car hit, their mother was just very kind to me and was very strong with her faith and telling me like it's not my time to go. God has more plans for you and stuff like that. And as much as I'm I said in my last podcast, I'm not a huge religious person. I'm more spiritual than anything. I wasn't offended by anything she said. I was actually grateful because she had no reason to say what she said. So there's she could have just been like be more careful. I'm glad you're all right and stuff like that. But for her to go over and beyond and tell me that hey, God is still looking over you was a very a very beautiful thing for her to say. So after that time and I was still feeling down, I didn't have a lot of people to talk to. So I have two very close friends that I normally connect with. One is my friend Jazz, who I didn't really talk about him, and maybe one day I will. But I did ask him one day to be on our podcast, and further down the line he'll probably join. But he's been my friend since like the third grade. Like I've known this
Mm.
guy forever. Our friendship started on the weirdest thing, and I'll tell that story when the time comes. But like he was the person that I would always lean on when it came to like anything that was I wanted to talk to that had to involve emotions and stuff like that. And like he connected with me very well. But like at the age we're at now, he's kind of like living his own life. He's in PA. He's working hard. He does his own business, and right now he's like traveling with his parents. His sister's about to get married soon, and like he has a lot like a work, and he's trying to do stuff with his wife, and he's just a very busy person. So when we catch up as of late. It's only been like once or twice a month, and we'd go out to dinner. And we'd catch up for a few hours and talk then. But he wasn't around when I was down, and I was never upset at him or anything like that. That's how life works, right? Like time is always on our side with people. So I had no one to talk to for him. And then my other friend, there's some stuff that happened in our past that kind of put us in a rocky friendship, and he was also going through some self healing, and he wanted to travel. So he was traveling. He was traveling overseas. He was doing his own thing to kind of like discover himself. And he wasn't around. But he was the only other friend I opened up with as well. So having those two not around, the thing is, and this is to Melanie's, support to mental health, right? Like, as people who want to be there for you, as people who want to do as much as they can for you, they can only do so much. But if you're not willing to, like, stand up on your own 2 feet, then it's not gonna happen. Like they can care about you, they can, like, hold you up, right? But like the biggest lesson that I learned from everything that had happened to me was simply that since I didn't want to stand on my feet, no one can really support me. you know like, if I have the willingness to stand on my feet, if I had the willingness to keep fighting on, and then people came and held me up, and or held my hand, or held, wrapped my arm around their shoulders, so then I'm standing up, yeah, then you can do that. But if I'm not willing to do that, like, then not to say that your support is useless or anything like that. It's just I'm fighting a battle beyond that. I'm fighting a battle within, and that battle I have to fight on my own. And that's why, like, I agree with your support for mental health, to be on the awareness of that. Seek out the support you need. I know we spoke about your ex-husband, and I agree. I had wished he had some help, because I think it would have
Yeah.
done more than that. But I don't know if he was in a place where it's just like, no, like, this is just a man's world, like, I can't get the help I need. But even me, like, I had to I had to start fighting for myself, for me. Not for the fact that I have a wife, not for the fact that I have a kid. I had to start fighting a life for me, and it took some time, and I finally got there, and I think I'm finally doing better. I mean, I have my days where it's a little bit tough, but I do what I can. But I think there is a thing in men that, like, you know we see that all this is available to us. We see that all these resources are out there. We see that these people are out there that, like, care. But there's a battle within us that only we can fight, you know? And the best that can be done is, like, yeah, we get cheered on, but sometimes we win that battle, and unfortunately, sometimes we lose, you know? But I do appreciate the fact that I know we talked about this, Melanie, that, your husband was in this position, and it was tough, and you went through a lot, but you still took care of yourself. You still cared for
Yeah.
the people around you. You still stood on your feet, which is, to me, very motivating. Because, when I was hitting points where I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I mean, I thought I had it bad. Obviously, people have it worse. Like, look at, like, like you said, like California right now. Look at, like, LA. Look at people who lost their livelihood. It's hard to just come back and just be like, everything will be okay. When you see shit like that, you're not sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to know that at least people are out there, resources are out there, and, like, people want to do good. But I do hope and pray for those people that are on a different level of struggling, that have to fight that battle within. Like, keep fighting the good fight. It's not easy. It's not, fast. It's not, gonna happen right away. But, in the end, it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah. And I always like to say that to do the best we can on any given day, sometimes that's just getting out of bed, right?
Yeah.
That might be the best we can do, but still keep pushing forward little by little. Even if it's just one foot in front of the other, minute by minute, life can get better. And, after I lost my husband, it took me about 2-3 years before I really got back on my feet. I went through a lot of pain, nights where I couldn't sleep, days where I couldn't eat, and I was in a very bad state, but I had this hope that life can get better.
Mm,
And there's so much to live for. Even if it's just, seeing your best friend once a week, something to look forward to.
mm,
And I want to say to all men, especially, that you deserve to get the help you need. There is no shame in asking for help. It is not a sign of weakness. And I've seen a lot of men in group therapy, and you are all worth getting the help that you need. Please keep fighting for yourself in whatever way you can, because you are worth it.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Rose, I can't hear you. Sorry. No, we don't hear you. You no. I think before you did drop and I brought you back in, you might have to disconnect and reconnect because I don't know if the audio reconnected. So if you want to do that real quick, we don't mind waiting a few. Yeah, the technical issues, always seem to hit. We know.
It always creeps up, right?
Always, like, everything's going good. We're having deep conversations, and all of a sudden something crashes.
But I guess that's like life, right? Like you go through life, and then you could possibly be dealing with, fires one day out of nowhere,
Right.
and life happens, unfortunately, in some very devastating ways.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, now we can. Yep.
Okay, beautiful. I want to thank you, Melanie, for your story. It's always hard to lose somebody, especially someone who was living next to you and going that way. It's probably a nightmare.
Yeah.
I want to thank
Thank
you
you.
for seeking for help and looking towards the light. Going from the dark to the light, there is a path, and I'm glad you took the step towards the light. You did not sit down in your own world and close yourself. You decided to open yourself and go towards the world and seek for help, which is totally amazing. That's what I encourage people to do nowadays. If you're in a dark place, seek for help and go towards the light, because there's always people who can help you. And as a certified health coach, I just want to encourage you to not don't beat yourself down. Don't feel guilty. It's not your fault. It's not you. We're all dealing with our own demons. And nothing we can do. Only the person itself can decide for themselves. What can I do with my own demons? How can I deal with it? What should I do?
Mhm.
The best thing we can do is to support. Say, hey, listen, I understand. Right now, you're in the darkest spot. But let's start going towards the light. What can we do to go towards the light? It may be a positive affirmation, maybe shift of thinking, right?
Yeah.
Because it's everything, it's in our brain, in our thoughts, in our memory that coming from childhood.
Right.
Certain things happened. Why we're in suicidal mode? I've been there. I had 10 years of my life when I didn't want to leave. Pray to God to
Ah,
die every day.
so sorry.
When my dad passed away, he was my world. When I hated everything. But things happened. God decided to show me other ways. He showed me the light. I started shifting my thinking. I started shifting the way I feel. And I said, okay, the God wants me to live. He wants me to help others.
Yeah.
And now we created a motivation station where I can say, hey, listen, it was a dark time in my life, but I took the path. It was a long road and it's still continuing.
Mm.
Just to put step, 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 and just slowly move towards the light by shifting your thinking and then by shifting how you feel. And I appreciate you for helping others and mostly helping yourself. Taking your own braid and pulling yourself out is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you. And I want to give you a cyber hug that you
Thank
did
you.
that, and I'm proud of you.
Thank
Nah.
you. And
Yeah.
that
Sorry.
was
Go ahead.
beautiful, Rose. Yeah, that was beautiful what you said. And I'm very sorry that you went through those years, and I'm very sorry for the loss of your father. I know that's not easy. And I think it's so brave how you have moved forward, and I can see the light in you. I can see the positive light in you, and it's beautiful to see where you are now. And there are going to be tough days, but you can still be there for others, and you could still help yourself in whatever way you can. And you mentioned positive affirmations. I like to listen to those and say them almost every day. I try to say them as much as I can. I know before we started the podcast, you mentioned about meditation. That is something that I think is very helpful too. Whether it's guided or you're just sitting in silence for a few minutes. Another thing for self care is just doing things that you love. For example, I love to draw. So, which when last year I was also going through a tough time. I was laid off from work. I was in a toxic situation romantically, but so I wasn't able to be in the mental space to draw. But I got into drawing this year, and I feel so much better getting back into something that I love. So whatever your interests are, don't lose sight of that.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to share to all of you and your listeners is that if you love to read, if you love to collect stamps, if you love to, listen to podcasts, whatever it is, don't lose sight of that, and don't lose sight of who you are, because you are worth it. All of you, Sanjay, Rose, all of your listeners, all of the people on this planet, you're all worth it.
Amen to that. No,
Yeah.
I totally agree. Because I think a lot of the like my downfalls, I kind of gave up on doing a lot of stuff. So, funny enough, like Melanie and I had dinner yesterday, so we were catching up, and actually while we're out there, it's crazy how much a little bit makes such a difference. So, while we were out there, we were getting our food. A waitress came to check up on us, and we started talking about how much we love the place because like we've been there a few times for dinner. The service was always good. The food was always good. If anyone's interested, the place is called Elixir Bar in Edison. But like we were just having a good time, and we're telling the woman like we're having such a great time. And at the time, some guy, I guess it was like another customer that was there for a while, came up to her and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off," and he felt the need to give her a hug. And I guess because he might be a regular, he might have known her, and like she was just like she was just like happy to get a hug, and she was just like, this is why I work here. This is why I do the stuff here at this job, being at this restaurant and stuff like that. And for her, it was like I just like making people happy. I like making people feel good. And I was like, nah, you just kind of like show that. Like we can feel that you're that energy just from like being around you. But it's crazy how much a little bit of a difference like that goes like a long way. Like I know, like Melanie said, she's been going through like tough times in the past, and I remember even us talking about it, and I remember her even talking about wanting to get back into drawing, wanting to do some artwork and stuff like that. And I think I had mentioned it. We haven't gone together yet, but she's gone with her friends. They do like sip and paint and stuff like that, and she's had a blast doing it. And I'm like, see, like that's fun. Like I don't know if you've done the one where it's like sip and paint and karaoke, but
It
that one's
is
pretty fun.
fun.
Yeah,
It is
that
I
one's
fun.
did
pretty
that.
fun.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
place called Canvas and Grapes in Edison, and they
That
have karaoke
Mm.
and sip and
that's what
paint.
we did.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I never been to
Yep, I
karaoke
did
one,
that.
but
Uh,
I've been to sip and
Rose,
paint.
next time we're here, we're gonna do
You got
sip
to
and
do
paint
it,
and
Rose. You got to
karaoke,
do it at
hundred
some
percent.
point.
We'll do a motivate.
I
We'll
did
do a
separately
we'll do
karaoke and separately sip and
l-
paint. But I
listen.
do
Yeah.
remember on one of the podcasts when Dear Sadla was sharing her depression story and how she got out of depression by using art.
Yeah.
I think that's the one of the outlets when you can put all your pain, all of your grief, all of your sorrows to the music, to the
Spill it out.
art, to the
Yeah.
just put it out there.
Mm.
Creative
It's a creative space.
energies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Mm.
Yeah.
No, that's
exactly.
awesome. No, no, Rose. Next time you're around, we'll definitely go. It'll be a
We
lot
got
of
to do it,
fun.
Rose. We got to
Yeah.
go to Canvas and Grapes.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be
Sing it out.
we'll do a whole motivated station episode straight from there. Uh, we'll keep it PG
Yeah.
songs, stuff like that, Lion King or something.
Love
I don't
it.
know. We won't, no, but so even these little things. See, we're over here laughing about it. We're having a good time, but it just goes to show, like, little things like this make a huge difference. I wanted to just read a few comments because I know I didn't catch up on
I
a few.
want to
So Gina was saying that sometimes
thank
devastation
everyone
can
who's
make
here.
you see your priorities. 100% agree. Sometimes we go through these rough moments. Like I think I talked about it at one point. Rose, you talked about it too. Where, like, I mean, I called it like triggering moments where it was just like it's either now or never. Like like I've talked about doing stuff. I've maybe written it down. I planned to do it, but I never actually did it. And now here we are. Like Rose, like you said, you had your very close bond with your father, and your father was always like, Rose, you'll do great things. And look at where we are now, doing a podcast together, and inviting all these amazing people to join. And not once during that time where you're like, hey, like maybe in 3 years or whatever, I'm gonna start a podcast. No, 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 we never thought any of that before. You know, but here we are, and this is the whole journey of life. And even for me, I went from a time where I didn't want to be around anymore, and now it's like I was even before that, I was at a point that I was like, I don't know if I want to be married, I don't know if I want to have a kid. And now I have all of that. I have a wife, a kid. My parents are doing well, which is great. Like when I was younger, I wasn't really close to my parents, but I rekindled that relationship. And not once was I ever like, I thought I would be here. I remember I went out to dinner with a friend, and he was just like, did you ever picture this life? And I was like, no, not even once, not even remotely. Like, of course, I have the dreams in my head, of, like dreams. Like, I think we talked about dreams a little bit, but like, I told you I want to like do some acting and stuff like that. But it was always like in my head, or like scenarios you make up in the shower and stuff like that. But, nothing I actually truly decided to pursue. But I was telling even Melanie yesterday, like, I'm trying to write out a script that I want to do like a short, like, show and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And it's just like these little things add up, and they build a bigger picture. Oh, sorry. Also, she also mentioned, the darkness is the light. As dark as it may seem, it leads to change, enlightenment, clarity, and helps us to see that there are different ways to get to better places in life. Absolutely, because like sometimes
Yeah.
it's like when you hit the wall, when you hit rock bottom, that's when you're just like you can't go any lower. You know, there's only one way to go, and that happened to me this year. Was I was like, there's only one way to go, but up. So I started going up, and like I said, that's why I said fight the good battle, like a good fight the good fight, because it's worth it. As Melanie said,
Yeah.
as Rose said, like it's worth being around for. Um, I want to actually give a shout out. I think I don't know. Oh yeah. So my neighbor, who's a really good friend of mine. We
Hello,
went
neighbor.
we went to school together. He was in a younger grade than I was, but like he became my neighbor, and I caught up with him, and he's been like the best neighbor I've ever had, like ever. Not to downplay any of my other neighbors, but what I mean is like like he's been very kind
It's all right,
to like
Sanjay. You can boost this one up.
we're gonna, yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna have to like cancel this episode. We're gonna have to start. I'm
There's
gonna
always one neighbor
no,
So
but
it's
that
one
be
neighbor, just
washing
maybe
to
a
the
little
window.
listen,
above the others.
he's gone over and beyond being a neighbor, right? So like he's always there for my parents, but he's done so much for my daughter, so much for my wife, and he actually showed up
Wow.
on my podcast right now, and he said, "Hey man," so I just want to read a few things that he threw out there. So he said, "I'm happy to join and happy to support. I've suffered from mental health my entire life. I also try to stay as positive as possibly, and what I can for everyone, but no one truly sees my pain through my smile and caring heart. I'm happy to be here today." Oh, he said Sanjay is a good man and even better father. Oh, you're gonna make me cry, man. Don't say stuff like that.
Uh, I second that. I second
Ah,
that
come on, come
to
on,
your
come on.
neighbor. Yeah. Sanjay,
Nah.
I just want to say that when we first met, I was going through a very tough time, also a lot of anxiety. I remember the first time we met, I had a lot of anxiety.
Oh yeah.
And you've been there for me so much since the first time we met through now. Like, you've just been amazing. And anyone who knows you is very lucky. And I want to say the same to you, Rose. I'm just meeting you on the podcast, but I can tell you're just a very positive light, a beautiful soul. And I want to say the same thing to all of your listeners, even though I don't know them. I just get this sense that they're all wonderful people, and anybody would be lucky to have them in their life.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think this kind of positivity, this kind of love, this kind of glow is important for all of us, and it's beautiful that we're able to share it. The three of us here, our viewers, and I think it's important for people to have this, and if they don't, that it's not unachievable.
Right.
You do have the power to connect to people, either professionally, like you said, through help, like Melanie said, or even just like on small things like this podcast. You know, we're here to help you grow. We're here to help you be happy, help you find your place. Josh, like Try not to be emotional. But Josh, I know you've been going through some stuff, man, and
Oh,
Today we're here for
yeah.
everyone
yeah,
who is in a dark place.
All
And
right.
I want to
Yeah.
tell you there's always a light. Even the curtains, when they're totally black, you can just open just a little bit, just to let that little light to
Some
go
might come through. Yeah, absolutely.
and shine.
yeah,
Just let yourself. It is how we feel. It is how we think. And sometimes we get stuck in the thinking everything is bad,
yeah.
everything is not going right. Why is it happening to me? Why
Or
is it
things won't ever
happened
get
with
better. Like
me?
I'm stuck in
Yes.
this, yeah, in
So
this place. Yeah,
I want you to encourage you to shift your vision, how you see things right now. If you change the way you see how the things right now, slowly it'll appear into your reality.
Yes, I
Because
agree.
whatever's happening with you right now, it's not forever.
Hmm.
It's right now. When you're at the good times, it's not forever. It's gonna be a bad times. It's like a roller
right.
coaster. It's called
Yeah.
life, right? Even if we're gonna talk about, I don't want to say names, but there's Paris Hilton, there's Janeko, there's celebrities that lost entire house. There are also human beings.
Hmm.
They lost everything they worked for so hard. It's so hard to be an entrepreneur or be a celebrity. You're always working, 24/7, you're working, and you just lost everything. And I
Yeah.
want to encourage even them. Listen, it's not forever.
Yeah.
It will get better, but you need to believe in it, right? Believe. You need peace. Without peace in your heart, you can just go and bring light.
Hmm.
To be able to have peace and believe, we need to change the way we see things, the way we think, and the way we feel, right? It's all combo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
can't blame the world for things that happening to you because things that's happening to you is the decisions that you made long time ago. This is the result of your decisions.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I agree, and
yeah,
I also to add on to what you're saying is I think it's important to also have patience. Like
yeah,
things don't happen overnight. Things don't like things won't change right away. But I think there's the mental of like having that faith. There's the mental of like uh being positive about it, being like not what's the word I'm looking for, like you, not just like your belief of doing it, but like you got to take the action to do um things like that make you happy or bring you back up. um Sorry, before I actually lose my train of thought of what I was saying for Josh before, because like I couldn't get it out. But like it's crazy to me that you're going through some hard times, and I know people have given you a hard time as well, especially with the
mm,
the nature of the person that you are. You're a very kind, caring person. um and that's why, like we straight up, I call him, I have Lily, like Lily calls you Uncle Josh for a reason. You might not be blood, but
mm.
you're basically like a great uncle to my
Family.
daughter. Yeah. So
That's
I'm very
beautiful.
very appreciative of that, and he's a very kind, warm, loving person. When there's like
Oh,
holidays, Christmas, Valentine's Day, this man goes all out. I'll
oh,
take pictures of the house next time there's a holiday, but he goes all out. He like our block, like you do enough representation of our blocks, like Christmas or Thanksgiving. You do all these decorations. You do everything enough to cover our block, just at your one
oh,
house. But listen, man, keep fighting that good fight. You're doing a great job. And just like Rose said, just like Melanie said, like this is not the end, man. This is nowhere near the end, and we got plenty of more adventures to go. Um, and thank you for being the person you are to not just your neighbors, the community around you, us here on our podcast, and myself and my family, but just like thank you for being you. Honestly, thank you for being you.
One of the best
Sounds
things,
like a wonderful person, Josh
Yeah,
is.
we gotta.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
gotta take you out for
Very
drinks or something.
thankful.
Yeah,
was
That's
sending light to
amazing.
Josh. Sending
Yeah,
light to
sending you lots of
Josh.
light and prayers, Josh.
One of the best
Um,
things that I've learned that at the darker times and when anyone has a darker time, I want you to stay in the darker time and understand what you have. Accept that you are in a darker time. Okay? Say, I am right now at the darkest time. What can
but
I
like,
do?
I think
I
the
don't want to
biggest.
do nothing? Then don't do nothing. Just
Yeah,
lay there until one day you wake up and say, okay, it's enough.
yeah.
Enough is enough.
No, I
And
agree.
now let me put one thing. Let me just, one thing is get up today.
Mm.
Do one thing, brush your teeth, take a shower. Just
set like
small things, right?
like
Take a
little
shower.
tasks you can do.
How about
Yeah.
put some clean clothes on for change, right? Because some of us
Right.
laying in the same pajamas for a week and they don't want to do anything.
Yeah,
I
Right.
it's little
understand,
things. Yeah.
but there's a
Yeah, for
life
example,
to live, and
yeah.
are you going to live your darkest life forever?
Mm.
Are you actually thinking of putting some lights every single day to change it all around?
Yeah. Yeah. For example, if you have to like vacuum or clean your house, maybe just clean a small part of the room one day. Or maybe if you have to take out the trash, maybe just put a little bit in a trash bag, and then take it out. Maybe it doesn't have to be like this big, huge task. It can be like little, for example, if you have to, I don't know, you have some errands to run, maybe just do
Yeah,
one
small
errand for
things
that
add
day.
up.
Yeah, no, and I
Exactly.
agree. Like before you know it, you'll be doing a full task, and you'll be like, "Hey, how did I get to this point?" But the one thing I want to say to
Exactly.
Rose, and I think Gina like will understand it as well, right? But it's crazy that when you're in the dark, right? When you're in the dark and you see that little stream of light, that stream of light will be brighter than like had you had your curtains open the entire time, and like been in a better mood. But like it's like you have the whole curtain open and the lights coming through, but for some reason when you're completely in the dark, or I mean, when you're completely in the dark and that little stream of light comes through, that little stream of light makes the biggest difference in the world. That stream of light, just like it's like that little sliver of hope that comes in, that starts opening the light more, and that starts opening people up more. It's I agree with you that sometimes we need to sit in the dark, and this goes back to our the beginning portion of our self-care when I was talking about Melanie, that like when I was down, right, and I had all these wonderful people around me to support me, I didn't want to stand up, but that's exactly what I did, Rose. I sat in the dark and I was like, no, I need to let myself kind of stew here in this little darkness until I can get back up. And it took a few steps. It took a bit of time, right? But like I got up. And when I got up, the people that were waiting for me to get up, fortunately for me, were still there and saying, "Welcome back." Welcome back to here. They would meet up with me, took me out to dinner. I think Mel and I go out to dinner like every other week or so. So like even like small things like that, like as much as Melanie, you said to me like I was there for you for your times and your stuff that you're going through your life. You have no idea how much of an impact you had on mine. I hope I know, I'm sure you have a good idea now at this point, but like it's crazy how we all hit this point where like we hang out with someone, and that someone's like, wow, like you really helped me out, but then they never see the other end of it, where it's like, no man, like you really helped me out too. And those are like unspoken bonds, those are unspoken words sometimes, and it's a very beautiful thing, and that's why I love what we do. And I was telling Melanie that throughout the last few years, I've been trying to get more into doing some stuff that like I want to be motivated to do, right? So
Yeah.
I was doing some car videos for a while. I was doing some gaming for a while. I was streaming gaming, but nothing stuck through. And I was telling Melanie last night, I was like, but for some reason, this motivated station, like Rose and I started it. I was like, I
Yeah.
actually
Push it,
like to do it.
push
Yeah,
it.
I was like, I actually enjoy doing it, and not so much
Yeah.
for the fact that And look, I'm not saying it won't, or like I don't want it to, but if this ever grows up beautifully and we have all these subscribers and viewers, that's fantastic. But for me, even having, like, right now, I'm looking, right, and I don't know how accurate it is, but we have 6 viewers, right? We have people popping in the chat, talking to each other and talking to us, right? For me, that's more than I've ever wanted, you
Sure.
know and I'm like, this is why I look forward to doing it every week, because it's like more people get to talk, more people get to connect. I'm gonna put Melanie's Instagram, like, on our description, and people might want to reach out to her and talk to her,
Yeah,
and
please
I
do. Anyone. My doors are always open. Anyone is struggling, always feel free to reach out. I'm always here.
and it's like these little things that, listen, they do open up these doors. And I was telling Melanie that I think the biggest beautiful thing that we can do right now is like create that opportunity to open that door, right?
Yeah.
So I was telling her, I've been through places in life where I was like, I think I've made it. I had a dream job. I was working in the city, everything was good, and then COVID happened. And Rose, I think, to your point you said before, there's stuff that happens to us, like celebrities lost their house and stuff like that, and there's stuff that's just out of our control. 100%. There's not anything we can do about stuff that's out of our control. But the best thing that we
Right.
can do is, uh, um, how we react to it. That, like, what we do after that moment. Like, yeah, part of the story from the waitress yesterday is like sometimes she's like, she gets rude customers and stuff that come in, and she's like, I have two choices. I can either match that
Oh,
energy and be rude, or I could just turn the cheek and just be good. And that's what she chose to do. She's like, listen, you could be rude to me. Maybe you had a bad day. Maybe you got laid off. Maybe your work gave you a hard time. But, like, you bring that energy to me. I'm not gonna match it. I'm just gonna make
yeah.
sure you're good. I can get you anything I want. And I've always been that way. I can heartfully say, like, people like Melanie, Rose, Josh, Gina, like, all these people that we've been talking to are more or less that same nature. Like, they don't reach that level of, like, if you want to be negative, I'll meet your negative energy. But like, I remember when she said that, and I was proud of her. I was happy for her, because I was
Yeah,
like,
I
that's a good
remember that
attitude
too.
to have.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah, it's
actually.
also, yeah.
So I just want to say
Also,
Gina's comment out loud, because she's actually
yeah.
talking to Josh, right? So she says, "Hi Josh, I've also been dealing with and trying to work through some pretty substantial mental health struggles. It's been very difficult at times. I'm still here and fighting back too, Josh. You're not alone. You have people, even
Oh,
here, that have been in that place. Fortunately, I also have had a lot of support, although I isolated myself. God hasn't given up on you. We haven't given up on you, and we haven't given up on you. And most important, you have not given up on yourself. Keep fighting.
oh,
Keep fighting, Josh. We're here fighting with you, and we're here for you, even if it's
oh,
privately. I know Gina's out
beautiful,
of Jersey.
Gina.
I gotta meet Gina when I get a chance.
Thank you,
Gina,
Gina.
that was beautiful. Thank you for saying that to Josh.
Also, I want to say on the waitress part, right?
Yeah.
It's technique. It's called mirroring. So how you feel, if you feel great, show that to the world, right?
Yeah.
It's like match your energy with the world.
Yeah. No, I
So, and
agree.
you bring that in, when you bring that in, the other person will also be like, oh, I was so negative today and I'm so grumpy. She's so smiley. Maybe I should smile too.
Mm,
So your energy and the other person's energy will match it because you
mm,
know who you are,
mm.
you know how you feel, and you stand still. When you're
Yeah.
at peace, you in a balance and you harmonize, then you just, hi, how are you doing? How was your day?
I think
And the
we.
person's like, oh, and boom, it changes how they feel, how they look at the things. If you
Yeah.
come up with like, oh, I'm so angry, blah, 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 and the other person's like, oh, whoa, 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 okay, maybe I should be angry too,
Yeah.
kind of like
Right.
a,
I think we talked
so
about it
match
with.
the energy.
I think we talked about it with Robin when we were talking about energy, right? But that's literally what life is, right? It's energy. It's literally like, if you come in and I'm gonna what's the no, that's a bad now. Okay, I'll just stick to what I was saying. Like, it's all about energy. So if you come in with bad energy and you spread it to others, and it, like, kind of affects them negatively as well, it's gonna like open a door that you don't want to open, because then they'll be negative, and then they might bring that negativity to someone else too, right? But on the
Right.
flip side, it's also the same thing. If you're positive and you spread that energy to somebody else, they'll be positive. They'll send that to
And then
somebody else.
that'll spread to
Yeah.
more people.
So
And yeah.
I think I said this in the past, where it's like, if you want to have a bad day, have a bad day. You know, if you want to have a good day, have a good day. But whatever you decide to do is what kind of day you're gonna have. You know, if you're
Right.
gonna be negative about stuff, you're gonna have a negative time. You're gonna have a, not like a bad day per se, but you're just gonna, everything's gonna be negative around you. But even that little thing, like you said, even that little like thought process of, let me be a little bit better today. Let me smile today, right? When I
Yes.
don't think I've ever said this on the podcast. Maybe I did. I don't remember. But one of my most favorite things I've seen, and I forgot who said it, but it was like, it's better to be the one that smiled than not be the one that smiled back. You know, and it just goes to
Mm.
show, like, like when I used
I
to walk
love
when I was
that.
younger, when I used to walk around when I was younger, my head would always look down. I would always be, not more or less watching where I walk, because I was very clumsy, but I also never want to look into people's eyes. Now, everywhere I walk, I stare them straight in the eyes. I'll give them a smile and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I haven't hit that level of like, because I've seen like YouTube videos, and I love, like, I'll sit in the middle of the night, and I think, Melanie, that's why I went to bed last night like late. I was on YouTube watching like wholesome videos of like just wholesome
Oh,
stuff,
that's beautiful.
and it's beautiful. But it's like, you go down that rabbit hole of, okay, I really need to go to bed, but I'm watching this stuff, But like, I was watching a video of a guy just walking around. He's like, "Wow, I like your blouse," for no reason. This is some random woman, right? And she was waiting at a bus stop, right? And like, he walked by, he just said, "Oh, nice, that blouse looks amazing on you," and walked away. Didn't stop to have a conversation. Wasn't hitting on her. Just said that and walked away, right? And it was like a hidden camera, so like, the guy did it for, whatever. But like, actually standing from that bus stop, she went from like staring at her phone, focused on texting or whatever, to like she couldn't stop smiling. Like,
It
she
made her
kept
feel
looking around.
good.
Yeah, she was just like,
Yeah.
well,
And
Yes.
not, like
someone
she
she
said,
didn't even know is
yeah.
telling her a nice comment like
and,
that.
and then she was just like, you can see her mood. Not that she was necessarily in a bad mood, but she was just smiling. She was just like happy,
Right.
But it's crazy how much of that little difference makes a difference. And I love to do it all the time. Like, I went to the gym one time, and I think I told this story before, but I went to work out at like 7 different sets of exercises, while I saw like an older woman on like an exercise bike, and this woman was pedaling. I don't think she stopped, man. Like, she was just on it forever. So before I left, I felt the need to go up to her, and I was like, "Ma'am," and like, she was like stunned, because I, like, it's like, "Why are you talking to me?" And like, not that she had an attitude, she was just like, "Do you want to use the bike?" Or, like, she didn't want to be in my way. I was like, "No, no, no." I was like, "Yo, you're killing it. I don't, like, you've been on this bike since I've been here for like an hour and a half. Like, yo, lady, you are
Oh.
killing it." And she started like laughing, smiling. And as I'm walking away, I don't know, I didn't want to start a whole conversation. You're at the gym, you want to be at the gym. And I look back, and this lady still has that same big smile, and like, she's like doing her exercise even happier. But it's crazy how contagious that is. But being negative and being down, that has the same level of being contagious. So you get to choose what you want to spread, and I
What you want
definitely
to, yeah,
will.
how you
I
want to,
definitely want to
the
spread
energy you want to
kindness.
put out there,
Yeah.
you
So
know?
I
That's
And
appreciate
one
I
of
that.
the
like to
best
say
self
that
care for yourself.
Yeah.
the world cannot have enough kindness. So even if it's just a kind comment to a stranger, a smile, a hug, even paying it forward at Starbucks, like, just put kindness out there and it'll come back to you.
Mm.
What we put out there comes back. And one thing I like to do is gratitude, even for little things. Gratitude for breathing, gratitude for being able to see, gratitude for my socks. The more gratitude we have, the more things we'll have to be grateful for. Even
Mm.
if you're going through a tough time, there's still something we can appreciate in our day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every
Whether
single
it's,
day.
a
Yes.
smile, a hug, a kind comment on social media, this podcast. So I think being grateful can also help us cultivate feelings of, just even feeling a little bit better, even, 5%
Yeah.
better maybe on any
Mm.
given day.
Practicing gratitude, one of the best things that I do in the morning, I have a journal. Like, I can even show you right now, it's a journal
Mm.
when I just write down every day 10 things that I'm grateful for.
Mm.
Practicing gratitude, it brings you so much peace. And at the same time, I want to say one of the best things that I want to tell people, one bad thing. Make sure the one bad thing that happens to you a day, let not ruin your day, and let not ruin your life.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Because we're so focused on that one bad thing that happened. Maybe somebody, you were having a coffee in your hand and somebody bumped into you and the coffee spilled all over.
Mm.
Okay? It's not over. Don't let that one bad thing ruin your day and your life.
Mm.
Live through, gratitude, say thank you,
Mm.
leave, relieve the emotion, and release.
I think Robin Williams had said it, and I'm only paraphrasing because I don't remember, but he said the bad things that happen to you wake you up to the good things that are happening in your life, you know?
Yeah.
And like I read that
That's
comment, and
amazing.
I mean, I love Robin Williams is like one of my biggest motivations, but
Yeah, it was
you know,
very sad
he
when he
said,
passed. Yeah.
yeah, you know, he was going through some hard mental stuff too, you know. But look at him, like you saw how much he was spreading, you know, how much joy he was spreading. Like he lost the battle against, unfortunately, himself,
Ugh,
but
yeah.
he made sure no one else felt that way. You know, he made sure everybody was smiling, laughing, living their lives, despite the fact that he was struggling, which I think
Yeah,
is honestly insane. You know,
I
especially when
heard
it.
him and Christopher Reeve were like really good friends, and he was there for Christopher Reeve. After he went through his accident and all, like he was still there for him in a big way, and he had a good heart. Robin Williams,
Yeah.
he really cared for people. Yeah,
And like I said, like people like that, people like, I think we were talking about last night, like like I'm a huge fan of Keanu Reeves, right? And look at, like, he's been through a lot in his life, lost lives in his life. He was struggling a lot, but he still did what he could for the people. And
yeah,
I think people call him like the internet's boyfriend and stuff like that, but he's just a good guy, like the good natured guy. I forgot. I don't. I think it was him. I don't even remember. There was an actor. I don't remember who, but like he would always like treat the. Oh, I think it was Robin Williams actually. But he would like treat the cast to lunch or and stuff like that. He would walk around and talk to everybody, make sure everybody's good, and it just goes to share, like, as much as like. There's certain people in the acting world, right? That like they bring themselves into like their character, right? So like for me, for example, and I'm sure there's more, but I'm just talking about the ones I know. So like people like Keanu Reeves, people like Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, right? Like, yeah, they'll play a certain character, but it's like Jim Carrey is this person. They bring Jim
right.
Carrey into that character, and Robin Williams and Keanu Reeves and like. All of them, they were like that, and I always thought it was like a most impressive thing. But it goes to show that when they started to get into this business, it was more because they wanted to do it for the people, to make people happy, to make people laugh, to have people have a good time and stuff like that. So, little stuff like that is amazing. And just like Rose, you said before, like we don't know what else is happening in their lives, and like we used to see the surface. We see what media shows us. We read stories of people who we don't even know what the hell's happening, and we read their stories and we're like, oh, we think a certain way. But
Right.
I agree, these people worked hard and they unfortunately lost their houses. And I've seen some unfortunate posts of people being, I don't want to say rude, but it is kind of rude. They're like, "Oh, you're just a celebrity. You just lost your house. You just lost $1 million." And
Like,
it's like,
yeah,
look,
but
but they worked hard for it. And like, I'm not trying to compare it to, like, the stuff that's happening across the world, and the tsunamis and the war and stuff like that, and like people losing their lives and houses. Then I'm not like, life shouldn't be about a comparison of, these guys are
Right.
losing their houses and these guys are losing their houses, like this one is worse. Like, dude,
Right.
take a step back. Everyone is losing something, and we should be a
we're
little bit
human
more caring.
beings,
We should
everyone.
be a little bit more caring about it. Like, just
Yes,
because you don't agree with them, just because you're a celebrity, I don't give a shit about you. Like, there's still people, like,
They're
even,
still humans, exactly.
yeah,
they're
They
even
still
humans,
they still
and they
struggle with their
work
mental health.
harder
They
than
still
we do.
struggle. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
They work
even
harder than we do, and
even
the
like
amount of
saying stuff like that though
it's
is like,
everything, memories, everything that's inside, the things that's invaluable, like valuable things, the pictures maybe with the loved ones that already left your life. There's so
yeah,
many things.
yeah. No, I agree.
It's
And
especially for celebrities. Most of the time they're in the house. They can't get outside because they're being
Like
Paparazzis
the yeah.
everywhere, so they have to
Right.
stay inside. So most of these people made their homes when they don't have to get out, right?
Hmm.
They have everything there. They have their studio, their library, their um, playing room, whatever. It's everything in one house.
Mm.
And by just losing it, and now you somewhere in a hotel, you know exactly that your house is not going to be restored.
Mm.
Everything in it is not going to be restored,
Mm.
and you have to restart again. It doesn't matter who are you, like
Mm.
celebrity or not celebrity.
And these
It's
people have
that
families, they have kids, they have,
everything.
like, and
Yeah.
we should be compassionate and respectful no matter who people are.
Yeah,
Like, it
that's
doesn't
yeah.
matter if they make so much money or if they work, at a gas station, for example. Everyone deserves compassion, respect, kindness, and love, you
Yeah.
know?
No, especially I think we live in a time that people are very quick and easy to just like to talk down on people, and it's easy
To
access to do now.
judge.
Everybody has a cell phone now, like it's crazy that we have stuff like Twitter, stuff like Instagram, where like you could be like just a bitter person, like you don't really do much with your life and you don't want to do anything, but yet you can go on to Twitter and just start talking, shit to someone, and it's just like, why? Like I don't understand that. So definitely, I think there is easier access to that kind of level of negativity, but that's why I think it's important, like for people like us, our podcast, our viewers, um, people like us out, even outside of all that, to like spread that positivity instead. Like I'm not trying to sit here and stand here, or whatever, make a like a statement saying that like everyone should listen to me. But what I'm saying is like I think it would just be a little bit nicer to be nicer. It'd be a little bit kinder to be a little bit kinder. But
Nice to be nice.
nice to be nice, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think the importance of that is up there, and especially in the place where it's like it's a little bit darker than it should be. It's nice to
Yeah.
be a light. It's nice to be like a little light for the people who have lost that hope. And yeah, like both of you have been saying, like celebrities. Listen, like I know there are people out there that are greedy. I know people that are out there that are not. But still, like Rose said, they're still humane. They worked hard
Yeah.
for what they got and they lost it. And same thing on the other side. Unfortunately, there's people who didn't have a lot and lost that too. And instead of
Yeah.
saying, well, this loss is worse than that one, or that one's worse than this one, listen, a loss is a loss and it's still bad. And
It
that we
should not be
really,
compared.
it should not
Exactly.
be compared, and we
Exactly.
should just do our best to help with that loss if we can.
Help
And
what
if
we
we
can.
and
Yeah.
here's the thing, even if we can't, right, the best thing you can do is don't make it worse, right?
Right.
So I like when Paul Walker, right? Paul Walker, I was a
Oh,
huge advocate of Paul Walker, right? People still talk crap about him, but whatever. But like, I loved him. I loved what he did for me for Fast and Furious. I loved what he did in other
yeah.
movies. He was just a good person, right? And when he
Right.
had died, right, I was upset. Now, of course, I don't know him personally. I never met the guy. I would have loved to, of course, right? But I never met him. And I put a heartfelt post out there, right, on Facebook. And there was a friend that I had in middle school, high school, like we went to school together, right? And he was just like, "Why are people like saying like rest in peace, Paul Walker? Like he was nobody, like not famous. Like he was like nobody of importance or anything like that, right? He was like a nobody, right?" And I'm sitting there and like I had two choices, right? Because like he was my friend and I saw the status, right? Um, but like later on, what I did was instead of like going back to him and being like, "Look, man, like you know, you, like don't say that because like people think differently." And so on my post, I was like, "Listen," and like I kind of said it in a general way, right? So I wasn't aiming at him when I said it, but I just meant it generally because I did notice other people were talking negative, right? And I'm like, look, for some people, Paul Walker was like they were fans of Paul
Hero.
Walker, a hero almost, right? They were very
Right.
caring about Paul Walker, even if they didn't know him personally, right? And for those people who have lost that part of their life for them, right? Let them be, right? And I was like, if you have nothing nice to say, just don't say anything.
Don't say anything at all.
You know,
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
you know, if you don't want to see posts about Paul Walker's passing, if you don't want to see posts about rest in peace Paul Walker, you know, we're here for your brother, drift that skyline in the sky and all that stuff, right? If you don't want to see any of that, look, take a break from social media, back up, go get
Right.
off
It's
Facebook,
you
get
don't
off
need to be
Twitter.
on it then at that point.
Yeah,
Right.
just know that this is what's gonna happen because a lot of people have a level of respect and love for him, and if you don't want to see it, you don't have to see it, and if you see it, just ignore it, right?
Because that person could mean a lot to someone. Maybe they
He
got
meant,
their
yeah,
movies got them through a tough time. Their
yeah,
music got them through a tough time.
yeah, exactly.
Let that person have those
Let
memories,
them have that
moments
moment.
with
Let them
them.
have that
Exactly.
exactly. And like after I put that post up, he actually took his post down. And I like and like it's funny because like even despite that happening, like I said, I didn't it wasn't for him per se. It was just his post and others like it that made me like, no, let me tell the world like, hey, can you guys kind of calm down? And people kind of shared my statuses, people I didn't even know, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But like like even after that, and he said that, like I still like it was like birthday or Christmas or something, and I was like, hey man, happy birthday. I know I haven't caught up in a while, but I hope everything's good. And he's like, no, 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 same to you, same to you. And I think like he like I don't know if he felt bad per se for what he said, but like I didn't hold a grudge. I was like, whatever, man. Like you're entitled to your opinion. Like I know he's a big like a baseball fan and stuff like that, and I'm not, I'm indifferent about sports, right? But just because like people will watch like the World Series or like Stanley Cup, like I'm really not into sports, right? But I let people have their fun. Go do your thing, you know. But like, it's crazy when I see shit like people tearing down like whole cities and shit. Like like football, like something with the Eagles, some shit went down in Philly. But like, it's like just be good and be safe. But like, let people enjoy themselves. If you're part of the losing team, whatever, man. Like you got to take the loss, and there's always next season. There's always
Someone
another
has to
time.
lose, right? And you
Somebody has to
can't win
lose. Yeah.
every game.
Yeah, exactly. It's not one of those things where it's like, hey, we all win. No, no, like there's it's fine. Just take the loss and just work
You can
hard
play the
and
next
like
game,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
And do your best, right?
But I
There's
mean,
always there's always tomorrow. There's always
but
another day.
I do understand like the frustrations that people have, and maybe it's like betting money or they are like diehard fans and stuff like that. But that's fine too. Like just do your thing. Just don't harm somebody else in any sort of process. Just let it be. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to get too far off track, but I forgot where I was at. But anyway, but like what I mean
Self-love,
is, yeah,
self-care
I think it's
Yeah.
important that like we spread this goodness, and it starts with self-care, self-love. It starts within. That's I think
starts with us.
starts with us, and it goes from there. You know.
Yeah. And just
Um.
be kind. Like, in a world we can be anything, just be kind. Like,
Absolutely.
it doesn't cost anything to be kind, and you don't know how much that can help someone who's having a really shitty day, you
Yeah.
know? That might really be the light in their day, and that's what they needed. They needed that smile. They needed that compliment more
Yeah.
than you might know.
Exactly. People fight invisible battles all the time, right?
Yeah,
We're not here to
It
judge that or make
always
that call.
starts with you. Be
Yep.
kind to
exactly.
yourself first.
Yep.
Yeah. Love
Absolutely.
yourself.
Love
That
yourself
that self-love
first.
is the best kind
Respect
of love.
yourself first.
Yeah.
Be nice to yourself first.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think.
show, because it shows.
Yeah.
When you're kind to yourself, when you love yourself, when you respect yourself, it shows.
Yeah.
And it automatically transfers
It, it,
everywhere.
it's
You don't
it's
even have to be. You
I,
already are.
I don't like saying it the way I say it because it sounds like it's like a sickness at this point, but it's literally like infectious. Like that level of like showing like just being, and people feel your presence and feel the positivity. It kind of like oozes out of you, and it feels like, to put it very, 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 very lightly, it's kind of like having a flu or being sick. You spread that to others, but in a positive way. You know what I mean? Like, you spread that good energy to them, and in turn, they start flowing that, and they start spreading that out. It's a very
Right.
beautiful thing. But it is energy, like you said, Rose. And it could be good, it could be bad, but you can make that choice. You know.
Right.
And I obviously we all hope for the people to choose the latter, people to spread the goodness and the happiness, but it's not always the case. But that doesn't mean we give up. We just keep fighting on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We can still be the good in the world, you know?
absolutely, absolutely. Um, Yeah, I mean, I was telling Melanie, I was like, look, when we start this podcast, sometimes we just start talking. We don't know how much time has passed, and it's already like an hour and 15 minutes, and
Amazing.
like there's so much still more to say. But obviously, we'll kind of start like closing up here. But like I was
Sure.
telling Melanie that she's very passionate about this, and we have lightly talked about it, and maybe further down the line, like I'll be more than happy to help her out. But Melanie was
Yeah.
talking about like she wants to maybe even start her own podcast to do more awareness for mental health. Kind of do it like the way we're doing it, where she would love to like either just do like on Spotify or something like that, and just like talk about it, talk about mental health, talk about whatever. And then she's like, hey, if I can bring in guests, I'll bring in guests, but I just want to be able to spread my message even further, because like she does a great job on Facebook, she does a great job on Instagram, and she wants to open up more avenues. And I'm like, go for it, like there's nothing stopping you. And I was like, if I can help you in any sort of way, if I can help you make your podcast or whatever, let me know. I did tell her,
Appreciate that.
I
Yeah.
told her, I was like, listen,
Yes.
the only time I'm not available is between 10 and 1 on Saturdays. And she's like,
And I
ah,
told you that's the
Sanjay, that's
time
the
I'm
only
gonna
time that
pick.
works for me. But we were just joking around. And I was like, all right, cool.
Thank
But
you.
like I was like,
And
listen, like
Rose, I would
I'll
also
help you.
love to have you
I
join
will definitely, I
I
will
think you'd be a
definitely
great
connect with
voice.
you. I will
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
connecting
please
with
do.
you. I'm a
Please
health
do.
coach, and right
I
now
love
I'm
that.
working in a 21-day well-being program
Mm,
when I teach people how to drink properly. People don't know how to drink water.
mm,
People don't know what needs to be in the pantry. Let's crowd out your pantry, right? Learn how to walk,
mm,
right? Learn how to sleep, being mindful. And one of the best things that you do, you teach people how to be mindful.
mm.
And I would love to incorporate your knowledge into my knowledge and put that all
I would love
together, and that would
that.
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
amazing. Right now in February, I am collecting ladies who wants to do beauty
Mm,
detox their skin in and out. I already have 2 people joining, so anyone who wants to join in February, DM me. I'll
mm.
let you know what you need for that. It's going to be 21 days. Very easy, quick program when you can see a huge difference in your skin. I'm sure you see it now.
Now you're
So,
glowing.
Beautiful.
and
Yes,
Yeah,
it
this
looks
let
is
me
amazing.
help you. Yeah, let me help you to get your skin right, to get your body right, to start drinking water, know when to drink it, how to drink it,
mm,
and all the goodness. Yes, and I definitely would love to connect with you.
I would
And
too.
it's
Yes,
definitely
please.
one
Let's
of the
connect.
pillars. It's being mindful and mental health because integrative approach, it's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, and spiritual. It's
Yeah, it's
everything.
all of them.
It's not
Yeah.
just learning what to eat. It's not about diet and exercising. It's about everything. It's about who we talk to, the good people around us, what
mm-hmm.
we do, what we think, and everything. So amazing. I'm
Beautiful.
proud of you of deciding to have the podcast because you're so passionate about helping others who need help today. Because maybe you didn't save the person's life that was next to you, but there's a chance you can save millions and millions of others.
Mm,
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
exactly your mission is to bring light to the millions of others you can help to get step back from
yeah,
that thought, get another step back,
mm,
and eventually get to the light.
yeah,
Ah, it's gonna make me cry. It's
yeah.
beautiful. You are a beautiful soul, Rose. Truly.
I'm giving you a
Um,
hug.
There you go.
thank you. Back at
Cyber
you.
hugs, everybody. Cyber hugs.
You too,
Everyone who's going through
Jay.
Listen,
stuff.
this year is all about this year's all about growth, and the
Yes.
positive light for not I like I said, like I was telling Melanie as well, like we do these podcasts, and I love the fact that it connects with people even outside of the people that are here, right? So me, like
Yeah.
us three are talking right here, and for me it's always been like such an experience for me, and I feel the growth in me, and it grows there, and I can looking at both of you, I can tell that this podcast also affects you guys, and you guys are happy, and you guys are understanding, and you guys want to spread that further, and then we have our viewers, and we have people who watch on the off hours.
Thank you,
um
everyone who's commenting.
Yes. Thank you
yeah,
so
yeah,
much,
it's all
everyone who's
blowing up.
listening now.
Yeah, thank you.
Please
And yeah, and listen, like we might not have direct links to our Instagrams or stuff like that per se, like because I normally just link like the guest or whatever, but email us, motivation station at gmail.com if you want to, if you're like, hey, I'm trying to reach Rose, like just email us and Rose will give you contact information. You want to speak to Sanjay, all right, email us. Oh, last week you had JD on your podcast, okay, email us, we'll send you his information. Like, not that I don't want to put it all out there, it's just a lot of information to have, but if you want something in particular, please reach out. But this
Yeah,
year,
anybody wants my contact, you can
yeah.
give it whenever if they message you or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm
Thank you
definitely
so
for
much,
your,
Melanie, for being here with us.
yeah, for your,
Thanks to
I
both of
will,
you.
Pleasure.
I will put your Instagram definitely 100% on our description as soon as I
Sure.
finish the podcast because I don't want to be clicking around all this right now.
No.
But
Thank you both so much.
no, thank you for being here. I've said it before on the other podcast. Definitely down the road, let's do a follow up. Maybe if you
I
open
would
up your
love that.
own podcast and we talk about it, I will definitely deliver
I would
that
love
news.
to have both of you on when that
And
happens.
yeah, your first episode has to be both of us. That's the
That's
starter.
a must. It's a
That's-
must.
But cheers to Motivation
Cheers.
Station in
Cheers.
2025, and you guys, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Oh, I think wait, did she disconnect? It's fine if she did. Melanie, if you can hear us, I'm disconnecting
Melanie,
you.
thank you so
no,
much
you're
for
back.
being here.
But yes,
Yes,
cheers
back.
2025 and to lots of luck with your podcast in the future episodes.
Thank
This is
you.
amazing what you're doing.
Thank you. We'll
Thank
talk
you.
soon. All right,
We
take care of yourself.
appreciate your
Sure.
feedback.
Thank you so much.
Nice
Uh-huh.
to
And
meet
bye
you.
to all your
Thank you.
listeners.
Say bye. All
Thank
right.
you.
Lots
Take
of
care.
love.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you again for having me.
Of course.
Sure.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Melanie. That was definitely amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
wow.
I
What a
said, like
story.
when we started
What a
talking,
story.
it was more like last month, right? When we started talking about some stuff, and I was just like, yeah, you know what? I wouldn't mind having some of my guests on here, right? Some people that I know personally, and like I know them, right? So I know them well enough. So like even like JD, even like Melanie, like I know them well enough. But then you do the podcast, and then you learn even more about them, And I love being able to connect that way and like learn even more about them. And I like the more we do these podcasts, the more I'm looking forward to like maybe like 4 5 6 months down the road, having them come back and checking in on them and they're like, how are you guys doing now? Like what how what's happened in the last 6 months and stuff like that. I think I think it's a beautiful thing, and I love the fact that some of these people are in a space where it's like they're getting there. Some of these people, when they came onto our podcast, they weren't in the best of the places or the best of moods or whatever. But I'm hoping that when we have them back on here in 6 months, they're just like in a happier, better place. Even if that means that all they did is now they're more grateful for getting up every morning, or they started doing little things to care for themselves. Like no one's asking you to freaking move Rome or anything like that, but like as long as you're feeling better each day, like I take what you say, Rose, like you say it to the podcast that you want it to be 1% better every time, right? But I take it into life that I hope that every morning we get up, we're
I hope you
1%
like
better.
my construction
Yeah.
part over there.
Yeah, she showed me that, and I saw the ladder, and I'm like, are you putting up lights or something? And then I
How
didn't
you do
realize
that?
it's part. I didn't realize it's part of the thing, but it looks good, like And I love your outfit today. You look very very like the be
Yeah,
awesome, the little red
it's
headband
be
thing.
awesome today. It's ho ho. It's love. It's we getting to the love. I definitely wanna.
Frank,
One of the things that I'm incorporating this year for myself and for others is show love,
yeah,
show compassion, love for
100%.
myself, love for others.
Yeah,
Because many years I didn't have love for nobody, not
Mhm.
for myself, not for others. And one of the things that I needed to learn, right? And when I had a special meditation when I met higher self, right?
Mhm.
And higher being, and I asked him, I said, God, tell me, where's love? Why I cannot love, right? What's that?
Mhm.
And he said, you have so much kindness in you. You're so kind. And when you sharing that kindness, you sharing love through your kindness.
Yeah,
And that was a great message from God for me. And also I did a technique when it was the last year, I had a course and we made a technique when you put your inner child inside of you
Mm-hmm.
And because your inner child is happy and having so much love for the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you hug your inner child and have that love start growing from
Mm.
last year.
Yeah.
And I said, let me bring love.
Mm.
And now everything I do, I said, let me bring something that's gonna incorporate to the Melanie, right?
Yeah.
Be awesome today. Love yourself a little bit more.
Mm.
That
Peaceful. Yeah.
self-love.
Mm.
Even how you eat, how you drink your water. Are you doing it with joy and love, right? Believe. Have some peace.
Mm.
Just that a little bit, right? And this is how people say, "Oh, you wear this, you have so much stuff, you." That's me. That's what I love.
Yeah.
Maybe you love something else. It's fine. I accept who you are,
Yeah.
but you need to accept who I am.
Yeah.
And today I want to tell you, be awesome today.
Mm.
Show yourself love. That self love. Do just one little thing. Just one little thing, as I say, 1% better, right?
Mm-hmm.
1% better. Where were
Yeah. Yeah.
we? You
Yeah.
know, just
Oh.
1% that love, that like learn. First,
Mm-hmm.
I needed to learn how to love.
Mm-hmm.
And then I needed to learn how to love myself to be able to love others.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to do
Yeah.
when you never loved, when you always was angry, blaming the world and oh, the world is so bad and things are bad and I hate everything. No.
Yeah.
Let's forget the word bad, crazy, hate. No. Kindness, love, compassion. Vocabulary is very important.
Mm-hmm.
What you tell yourself is very important.
Yeah.
That's why I've learned filter my vocabulary.
Yeah.
What do I say to others? What do I say to myself?
Yeah.
What comes out? It's very important.
Yeah, and like you said, like the love is important, and it comes in many different factors and forms. You know, there's different versions of self care and self love, and you know, for yourself, like I think you know at the beginning of the podcast, even like we thought about things differently when it came to the podcast and what we're looking for, but like now, like over time, I've come to understand the way that we both interpret what we want out of the podcast. And although sometimes it may be a little bit different, it's because of who we are, right? So like for you, it's like you said, you want to do 1% better for yourself, you know, just because you wear nicer clothes or nicer jewelry and stuff like that. Like you work for it for yourself because of that love. You know, for me, it's like, okay, well, if I dress up in like a t-shirt with a car on it and my room is a mess, but I have it blurred out so you can't see anything and, you know, stuff like that, like, I'm okay with this. But like, we at least have that mutual love and mutual respect that like, but we're still spreading that message that we want to get out, you know? And, you know, for you, it's a little bit more of a display. For me, it's a little bit more verbal. And there's nothing wrong with it, you know? We don't have to match it the same way, you know, per se. You know, we don't have to go around doing the same exact thing, but we are spreading love through our portals that we do it from, you know, from the way we want to do it. And I'm personally, I think we're both doing an amazing job. You're doing an amazing job, you know,
Thank you.
and I think it's just like you said, gonna get better with each time. But like the whole, you know, like we want our podcast to increase 1% every time, and I think we're doing it beyond 1%. But the goal, having 1%, is a nice step to have. You know, it's like what Melanie was saying before about like, you know, just starting the day positive, just doing the day, you know, just even doing small stuff like, you know, instead of vacuuming the room, vacuum half the room. Eventually you'll get there. Eventually you'll get there, right? But as long as you put like a little step to go forward, and then all of a sudden you find yourself taking a huge stride past it, like that's what you want to do, you know. And you'll learn that you want to do it by just doing it, and then after a while you're gonna be doing it without even like, you know, like without telling myself I'm gonna do it today. No, you're just gonna do it. You're just gonna show that love. You're gonna show more care. You're gonna clean up your house. You're gonna do your dishes. You're gonna go out, have fun, say nice blouse to a person walking by, you know, like stuff like that. Before you know it, you're spreading that love. But the hardest thing is
Yes.
always the first step. Always the first step. You know, starting is always the hardest.
Yes. And what I know is after this podcast or after every single podcast we have, you're not the same person anymore.
Nope, no, no, not
You're
at
not
all.
the same person anymore. And today we started with mental health, and look, the conversation went so beautifully. beyond where we were talking about, and you're not the same anymore. And shoot us a comment, a feedback. What what did
Yeah.
made you
Please, yeah, please
this?
leave comments on
You
our
know,
videos
how you
after.
changing
Yeah.
your life? What are you doing? What steps are you taking today?
Like
You know, maybe you were didn't want to do anything. Boom, now you are like started mopping or
Yeah,
something. You know,
Josh
something
just commented
simple.
right now. He's like, I deep cleaned my whole house yesterday. Boom. Like, look at that. I haven't cleaned anything in a while, but now I'm motivated.
I
Well, you know
deep
what? Maybe.
clean kitchen this week. Oh my
See,
goodness.
look,
And
it's
I'm
all
like,
these,
now
it's all these
coming to the
baby
kitchen, I'm
steps.
like, wow, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, you're sitting there like, ah, man, like I have all this room. Like, like the one time, I know my room's a mess. I'm never gonna show it, but my room has been a mess. And
Declutter
but
yourself
but
and
but no,
declutter
when I've
everything around.
when I've cleaned my room, when I actually deep cleaned my room, I'm like, I have all this room. Like I can walk around my room. Like it's crazy, and my daughter would be able to play. So like now I feel motivated. I'm like, damn, I should actually clean my room a little bit. But it's these little steps that we take that listen, before you know it, you're just gonna be doing this crazy stuff. Josh, I actually want to give a shout out to you
All
because
about habits.
Josh, you know what, Josh, if you're still watching, which I think you are because you commented, definitely would love to have you on our podcast. But, we'll talk about that at a later
Somebody's
time.
late. Who's late? Morgan?
Oh, no, Frank is late. He said, "What's up,
Oh,
Frank?"
okay.
Morgan, she's probably sleeping, but nah, like she had an accident yesterday, so I don't know
Oh,
how well she's doing per
sending,
se. Yeah,
sending, sending light to Morgan if she
yeah,
needs
yeah.
anything.
But she's
Praying for
probably
her.
just like knocked out. But yeah, no, Josh just we'll have him on our podcast maybe like in the next month or so. But he just started I would like to say a self business with a friend from town, like in our community, of like
Mm-hmm.
making shirts and stuff like that, like imprinting stuff. And I want to connect with
Mm.
you. I
Oh
actually
my
want to.
God, we need shirts.
I actually want to connect with you when we can talk a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I was thinking about Motivation Station as a thing, but
I
like
was
even
actually thinking about yesterday.
and I mean like because like my goal, like eventually hopefully we'll get to that point where we will sell it as like merch and stuff like that. But even just making one, like even making a few shirts where that we can wear on our podcast, even stuff like that, it'd be great. Hey, listen, you don't need to be. So Josh is like, one day I'm screen shy. Listen, you don't need to be on camera. It's fine. We can do
Yeah,
it by audio,
yeah.
But I would love to have you because
Collection.
I think your
Yeah.
your story would be a beautiful one to share, right? It would be a beautiful one to share to the people out there who have been in your shoes. I saw you and Gina connect really well in our comment section, and I'm happy about that.
Gina!
You know,
Teresa,
um,
everyone who's joining every single weekend, you know, my heart goes out to you. Everyone who's watching during the week and rewatching, my heart goes out to you. And everyone who is care, the the love that you can show is sharing, commenting, liking, putting that bell notification so you don't forget when it's happening. Please share us because people need us and we
yeah,
need people.
yeah.
You know, this
We
is a
all need each
mutual
other in this
love.
world, 100%. Yeah.
We need each other and people. We need to hear your story. We need more people hear your story. For that, all we can do is share. It's
Yep.
absolutely free, but it's absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, it's free and I mean it makes such a beautiful impact, and that this goes for anybody. This goes for anybody and everybody that watches, like if you watch it after hours, if you just randomly find this podcast on YouTube or something like that, and you're like, hey, like I would love to share my story. I'd love to talk about like something that you either need motivated for or you want to get motivation or you want to spread motivation. Look, we would love to have you. Just hit us up, email us, reach out to us on our little Instagram and stuff like that. But we
Thank
would
you.
absolutely love to have you.
This is
And
the station for motivation.
exactly. And honestly, everyone, thank you again. Cheers to everyone that is here, that is going to come later. We love you guys, and we honestly are very grateful, and we look forward to doing more and more of these episodes and meeting you guys or chatting with you guys. And like Rose's shirt says, be awesome today, and we all hope that you guys have a motivated day. All right? Take care, guys.
Have a motivated day.